Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold.
Yo, yo, yo.
Let the doubt creep in. More aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best.
What is up, guys? Thomas, what's up? Thomas, I'm only gonna be accepting the demos after I go live with David. Okay, so I'm probably gonna be asking you guys to send the demos to my email instead of Discord, so it's easier and it's all in one place. All right. Satan, what's up, my boy? Long time no see, brother. How's it going, guys? Let me know if I'm lagging. I feel like I'm lagging a bit. All right. So let's wait for a few more people to come on. Actually forgot to turn on my lights. Let me see. Yeah, like that makes the whole difference, right? Okay. Awesome. How about you? I'm doing pretty good, bro. Thanks for asking. Any demos for us today, Satan? Guys, I'm gonna tell you when to send the demos after I start the interview with David, okay? Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we're doing I'm doing a new series here on the channel. It's an EDM producer series. So summing it up, I'll be inviting EDM producers and also YouTubers to the channel, and we'll be chatting about music production, YouTube, and at the end we'll also be giving some feedback to your tracks. All right. Don't know if any of you guys knows David already, but you will today. So, David, can you hear me?
Yes, hear you loud and clear.
All right, let me check if you can hear you on the stream. I think so. Guys, also don't forget to leave your like. It really helps the channel. Okay, you think we're good. So David, what's up? I'm always mispronouncing your name. How do we say it?
David, you do quite a good job. I mean,
David,
for
yeah.
me, it's totally okay if people say David, very fine. Usually when I speak English, it's not my mother language. My mother language is actually German, but when I speak English, usually I introduce myself as David, so that's also fine. As long as you don't call me Dave, it's all good.
No, yeah. Is German the native language on Austria?
Exactly, yeah. Just like Germany, Austrian is the main language. It's the language that, yeah, everybody speaks here. English is also quite common, especially amongst the younger people. But yeah, the main language is definitely German.
Yeah, but you guys speak pretty well English, right?
It really depends. Through my job and through all the stuff I do, I think my English is above average, I would say, you know, when it comes
so you're an
to
exception.
Austrians. Yeah, but I would say at my age, it's quite common that people can speak quite fluently, let's say.
Yeah. Here in Portugal, we do, I think we do a decent job at speaking English at all ages, but I know there's some countries like Spain and France that people don't really speak a lot of English. But But yeah, once I heard yours, I was like, probably in Austria they all speak fluent English, right? Because that happens in the Netherlands, I think. Everyone pretty much speaks fluent English. But yeah, that's nice to know.
Yeah,
Jaitin, what's up? Hey Mayo, Monore Daput is streaming 60 plus K streams on Spotify. Oh, that's your last track, right? That's nice, bro. I'm really happy for you. That's really nice. Okay, so David, so I put up a few questions for you. I hope we can do it all. Okay, so first today I would hope us to speak about music production in general, right? Because you're a music producer, I'm one as well. I've talked to you before the live stream, and I know you haven't released a lot of stuff this year. Me neither, but I hope that's gonna change in 2023, right?
I mean, I have released some music, but I haven't released a lot of stuff on Spotify and all the streaming platforms. Just because I feel like at the moment it's just easier to get exposure on social media platforms like YouTube. So I released a bunch of music, remixes, but also original work on YouTube and other platforms. But yeah, Spotify only one song this year, which is definitely not enough. I really want to pump that up going into next
For
year
sure.
because yeah, it's just also important for a music producer to be there, even if it sometimes feels, especially compared to the work I do for YouTube, for my YouTube channel, feels like a bit of a harder game for sure.
Why didn't you release them all on Spotify? Are they like remixes or?
Yeah, some of it are remixes that would get me in trouble, but others is also like, I want to my artist identity on Spotify has a very specific music genre. I'm doing future house stuff there, and I didn't want to mix it up too much.
All right.
Although at the moment, yeah, I'm thinking of changing the style up there also a little bit. And I've also been creating different artist identities also on Spotify. So, for example, I posted a few videos about lo-fi hip-hop music, which is a musical genre I usually never write in. But I did it for the YouTube channel, and it got really successful, the video, and then I just released it on Spotify as well. And the way I did it is that my normal Spotify artist identity is David Ritt, my name. And for the lo-fi track, I made a new Spotify artist called David Ritt, but lo-fi. So this is my. It's actually a second release. So actually, I did two releases, if you put it like that, on Spotify this year.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if my subs know, but I also have a lo-fi alias, and it's called Hilo. So it's sort of close to Mayo. But I do everything privately over there, and I also release them on Spotify, and try to get placed on those Spotify playlists. And I feel like lo-fi is a good way to express yourself with like minimalistic arrangements, simple instruments. Yeah, it's pretty different. And I also wanted to ask you regarding what you said about not mixing all the genres in your main Spotify, because I sometimes go through that and I think about it, and I feel like I'm still changing my likes on music. So I've been producing different genres, and sometimes I wonder, is it best to try to maintain one unique style, or just not really give a damn about it and like release whatever you feel like on Spotify and like, everywhere? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you have to definitely find a way to fulfill both of these. So I think for growth and to develop some kind of artist identity, it's actually, especially in the beginning, I think very important to stick with the genre as much as possible. And even if maybe your taste changes over time, you might need to find other ways of just fulfilling the taste that changed over the time. But I feel like it's important to just stay within a genre as much as you can. For example, I mean, I do house music on my main artist, and I think it's fine if I do different kinds of house music, but I wouldn't throw in I don't know, a lo-fi track there or some other track. That's just too far off. I think
Yeah.
people are just so they really need to understand quickly what's going on there. Otherwise, they leave, I think, from the channel and never come back because they don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I get that. I understand what you say about going too far off. I often deal with the indecision on releasing two types of genres because I do like more chill music like future bass and future house, but I also love those banger styles like Stamp Records by Martin Garrix, like bass house, that kind of stuff. And I like to produce both, but I'm not sure about if I should create like an alias for bass house or just release everything under my name, But that's a good point of view, and yeah, I think there are no rules, right? But marketing wise, you might scare people off or not. You not sure. You should probably do an experiment on that, right? but yeah.
Sure. It's definitely a judgment call you have to make there, if it's somehow fitting and if it's similar enough or not different enough. But that's what's so cool about my YouTube channel, and you could probably use your channel as well for that. When it comes to
True.
my YouTube channel, I don't care. I do all kinds of stuff. I just follow my inspiration, follow my interest. I just do what I think is cool at the moment. And that's cool because just eventually over time people will find you, people that have similar interests. So I think following your inspiration and following your interest is also an important strategy. So yeah, you kind of have to look at it from different points of views and then find probably just a golden middle way somewhere down the road.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with the YouTube thing you said because it's really a good way to teach others about music production, but also to show that we can do a bit more than our Spotify and our music platforms show, and that's a really good point of view, actually. So getting a bit back, back to the beginning, I wanted to ask you, how did you start producing music? What inspired you to produce music? Did you have any background in the family? How did that happen, and when?
Yeah, good question. So I had my family. Music is important in my family. It always had a good reputation, so to say. My parents never forced me to become a lawyer or something like that. So I had classical piano training for a few years when I was a kid. I was singing actually back then in a choir when I was a kid, and I also had some jazz piano lessons. And at some point, I'm not only a music producer but also a filmmaker, and I always had a big love for music and for movies. And at some point, I figured out that these big orchestral film music things that you hear in the movies I loved, there was a software, there was plugins available where you could emulate these big orchestras in the computer. And when I found that out, I started to get interested in digital music production. And from there, I also studied that. I have a master's degree in audio and video production. That's already many years ago. I'm 35 years old now. And at some point, let's say probably like 10 years ago, I heard Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites from Skrillex. And this was, funny enough, the song that just for the first time, which is pretty late with 25, made me really interested in electronic music. And from there, I started learning, I started getting better, and I started making music much more in the electronic direction. And at some point, I started to, make music for other people, some ghostwriting. I have my own artist identity. I teach music here in Austria, and I still do my filmmaking stuff. And it complements each other quite a bit at the moment, especially nowadays where music is only half of the thing you need to do as an artist. The other half is
For sure.
video content, as you might know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask you what artist inspired you to start producing, but you already answered. And Skrillex for sure had a big impact. I remember as well a few years ago when I was still in school, I would listen to all those tracks, even Bangarang, all that kind of stuff, and it was really, really, really crazy. I only started producing a few years after that, but yeah, I think he's one of the goats. He really changed things around, So yeah, moving on to other type of questions. I wanted to know, Obviously, I've seen from your videos that you use Ableton, but I wanted to know if you ever use any other DAWs and if Ableton is your favorite one and why.
I actually started learning everything in Logic. That's also what I learned
All right.
back in university 10, 12 years ago. And Logic was fine. At some point, I switched over to Cubase. My big idol back at the time, Hans Zimmer, also worked on Cubase, so it felt natural. It's still my preferred software for stuff like audio post production. If you mix for film, it's super useful and super handy. But at some point, I tried out Ableton, and it's my big love. I think it's the most creative, the most fun to use, the most logical software to me. And I'm a big fanboy. I always tell my students when they come with some other software they started out with, I always tell them switch over. You will not regret it. Of course, there's big fans in every camp here, and I know that FL Studio, I think you use FL Studio as far as I've seen, also has a
Yeah.
very big fan base. Some of the really big names in the electronic dance music scene, like Martin Garrix, for example, they use a lot of FL Studio. So that, of course, has a big impact on what the kids are using nowadays. But yeah, my personal preference is for sure Ableton Live. It's such a beauty of a software, and I really like it.
Yeah, Ableton's amazing. I feel like it's a bit harder for beginners to um, understand the DAW because it's a bit more complex than even Logic and FL Studio. But yeah, I've been producing with FL Studio. I tried the three of them, and I found out that Ableton sounds a bit better. Like the plugins sound a bit better. It crashes a bit less than FL Studio, but at the end of the day, you can achieve the same results with any DAW, right? But at least it looks really nice on your short content, right?
Yeah.
better than FL Studio, I guess.
Yeah, the visual aspect is definitely also a thing that impacts how you work.
Yeah,
For example, Logic looks really good and really shiny. I always admired that about it. And Ableton Live has a very different look, but I like how raw it is, how two-dimensional it is. You know, there's no big eye candy there. It's just I don't know. Yeah, raw is probably the right word there.
yeah. I feel like Logic. The only thing I noticed was it was a lot harder for me to do things as fast as I would on FL Studio or Ableton. But I find it to have a really, really good native library, probably
Mm.
developed by Mac, right? And the instruments there, they sound really, really nice compared to the FL Studio and Ableton's native libraries. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
that's
sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
that's the other point. You know, with all the plugins you buy afterwards, that also really very much shape how you make music. The
For
host
sure.
DAW is probably not even that important since you're just using, or at least I or everybody basically uses tens and hundreds of plugins to,
Yeah,
improve and change how the DAW works further.
for sure. And on that note, what are your favorite plugins? If you had to name like your top three.
When it comes to synths, I'm definitely a Serum boy. I think
Same.
Serum is really cool because it has a very big preset ecosystem, so you can find presets from all genres at a good price. And having a lot of presets is, in my opinion, definitely very important. And I think you should never be shy of just using made up presets if it saves you time and if it enables you to make good music. And it's also visually very nice to see what's going on. That's why I'm always using it also to explain a newbie basic synthesis concepts. In
Yeah.
Serum, you can very easily see what the envelope is doing, what filters are doing, how it shapes the sound. So I think that's also super important. And I'm just most very used to it, and I know it in and out, and that's also a major thing. No matter what synth or no matter what plugin you go for, if you learn it in and out, it will become your favorite plugin. And it's really important that you're not jumping too much from one plugin to the other, but really learning the ins and outs. But yeah, other than that, when it comes to synths, I also really like Diva. It has a very warm and analog sound, especially for, retro stuff that I often like to do when I do some synth wavy stuff or some, I don't know, cyberpunky vibes. It's really cool to have that. And yeah, when it's about some standard effects, I love the sound toys stuff. I
Sure.
use I use all of that, like Echo Boy or Little Ultra Boy or Decapitator. Definitely my favorite distortion unit. And yeah, maybe a Pro L and Pro C for the master
Yeah.
chain, and
Fab
it's
filter as well.
definitely,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah, some of my top five. So is definitely that. I use these plugins definitely in every single project I open.
Okay. Have you also used Contact?
Yeah, back in the days when I was more interested in the film music stuff, in the orchestral stuff,
Mm-hmm.
all these orchestral sound libraries back in the day came within Contact. They were Contact instruments. So back then I had the Native Instruments Complete, like Complete 8 or some super old version.
Yeah.
But honestly, I faded it out, especially since I bought the Arturia V collection a few years ago. And then I said, okay, it's so big, it has so much stuff. I'm not using the contact stuff anymore, so I didn't migrate it to my new computer. So since then, I'm not using it anymore. But yeah, I hear it's still very powerful, and you can just do so
Yeah,
much
for
stuff in
sure.
it.
It does have a ton of libraries and instruments to play with. Yeah, regarding what you said, I agree with you. I've never used Diva. I've seen it in some tutorials, especially for basses. But I do have to agree on Serum because for me it's also number one synthesizer. It's Xfire just they did an amazing work. It's just really complete as a synthesizer, and even the layout. It sounds good and looks good. So yeah, I'd also say Serum is would be number one. And yeah, on that note, besides VSTs, what do you think makes a good producer? What skills you think are necessary to be a good producer?
Yeah, that's something I really like about this field because it's so big, and you can never just finish your learning process. There's always something new you can learn, and there's so many different topics that play into being a good music producer and making good music. For example, yeah, we talked a bit about the technical side, knowing how to use the software that enables you to make music. But other than that, just having understanding for music theory, being able to identify what makes a good song, and most importantly, probably is just being able to use your ears.
Yeah,
That's, I mean, always the number one tip anyways. Use your ears is the one tip that is always right. And it's true because not only when you make music on the computer, it's important to always double check what you're doing actually makes a song better or just different. But also, I feel like it's super useful to actively listen to music, and while you listen to music, maybe from your idol, really trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here? Which elements are there? How loud are these hi-hats? What's the bass doing? How is the sidechain pumping? All these questions. And the better you get at this active listening to music, it's insane how much you can hear. And in my YouTube channel, I also sometimes do remakes. So I remake a popular song, and this forces me to really dissect a song, and that's a really cool process. And not only is it good for my channel, but it also helps learning, and making this active listening is definitely a part of this process. And I think it's really useful to understand understand how music works. And I think at least for me, and I think it's true for many producers, music from other artists was always the reason why I actually got into this game.
for sure.
I got inspired by other artists, and that's why I'm here. So I think it's only natural that you borrow from other artists, and I think every artist is doing that. Even the geniuses like Skrillex borrow a lot from the idols they had, and that goes
For
back
sure.
until the beginning of time, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Until Mozart, probably. No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's hard for beginners to, feel comfortable, like trusting their ears, like their earring. Um, I know there's some tips out there to help producers recognize keys and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, for sure. I also think that everyone is inspired by someone, right? And I really liked. I think I've seen some of your remakes, but the one I liked the most was "Massive" by Drake, because I tried to remake it and I couldn't get the piano sounding good, and that was because I didn't have any VST that could emulate that sort of piano, because it sounds really dry and really nice, sort of those like 80s pianos or something. And I found it on your channel after I'd given up, and I really like the way you remade it so fast. You just used I'm not sure what the VST was, but it sounded exactly the same. And so yeah,
Yeah.
it's really nice to have that experience to do the desiccations, to be able to isolate every element, and as a producer, that's key for sure.
Yeah, in
What
this
were you gonna say?
case, for everybody who is watching, the song we're talking about, yeah, "Massive" by Drake, and they used a very iconic piano that is being used in house music a lot, and it's called Korg M1.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
this sound, as a house music lover, I immediately heard that they use this sound. So from there, it was just about figuring out the chords, and then immediately it sounded exactly like the original, and then everything else was just easy.
Yeah, it sounded really nice. I also wanted to ask you, because I talked about this with you before the live stream. How, as an artist, do you avoid getting those write blocks? How do you, on that note, how do you stay motivated all the time?
Yeah, um, I think it's important to not let writer's block be an excuse to not sit down and work. So I think if you let the writer's block win, and if you just s- go stand up and you just stop making music for 2 weeks, then you lost. But if you just sit down and really try to figure out the problem and just keep on working at least for me, at some point, inspiration hits me. And if I really lack motivation, for me, it's just always listening to music that I love that is doing the trick, because it hypes me up. I listen to something I really like and I think, wow, I really want to also make music, because that's just the most amazing thing. And that helps me to sit down, and then I feel like, you know, sometimes I struggle with a song for days. I just can't get it right. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know how to fix it. I get self doubt and I feel shit about myself and about my creative output. And that's all fine. And this can all be here. But at least I want to sit down every day still. And if it's just for 10 minutes and try something out, I think that's important. I mean, some people tell me it can be beneficial also just a step away, take a break. It's, I think, also super important that you figure out what helps you. I know that if I just put in the hours, at some point something cool will happen. So that's the silver lining, and that's what I'm trying to concentrate on. Other than that, of course, I have different, more practical tools that help me sometimes to get inspiration. We talked a bit about synths, so just loading up a synthesizer, flicking through presets can already spark some inspiration. But also just going on Splice and just grabbing a random loop can be interesting. And just getting back into this playful mindset of, almost being a child in a playground and just playing around with sounds as if it wouldn't matter if the result will be good. and just not don't forget that with all the pressure of doing that full time, with the pressure of trying to be a proper artist, it's still music and it still should be fun. And if we just struggle the whole time, then why even do it? So in the end, maybe finding the joy in the process is definitely super important. And that enables you to do it much more because, the person who likes walking will walk much further.
Damn, that's a nice sentence. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think your point of view is pretty nice. I've tried both approaches. Whereas I you know try and take some rest time and get away from the computer, or sit down and just do some work. And I feel like the human mind tends to get really comfortable on taking breaks. Since you always feel that fear of not being able to make it, not being able to make things sound good, you tend to get away a bit too much from your music. And yeah, I've also been reading about that, and sitting down, do some work, even if it's 10 minutes a day, it really helps out because you usually do something, even if it's an error, and you get motivated by that. So, sort of, you start a sort of like an endless cycle where you keep producing motivation. And yeah, I think that's really, really, really important. And regarding that, how do you think, like, how often should a an artist release music? So let's suppose they can be motivated throughout the year, right?
Yeah, I mean, the brutal answer is as often as possible. No, but there's always this big question about quantity versus quality. So
Yeah.
the more music you make, the less music just naturally you have for the individual track. And on the other hand, if you invest months and months on one track to make it, to polish it and polish it and polish it, then the quality might be really good, even though I doubt it, because you can overdo the polishing as well. But yeah, this question between quantity and quality is a really difficult one, and I'm adapting that actually all the time. Just as I get better, as I learn how I want to work, as I learn what the market kind of likes and wants, I adapt that. And I'm concentrating a lot on social media content at the moment, and I have some type of schedule how many videos I post, and I just try to stick to that. And I think there's definitely no definite answer because there's YouTube channels out there, for example, they post one video a year and they're big, but this one video is just like a 1.5 hour kind of feature film insane movie. And
Yeah.
same for artists, all kinds of stuff works. But I think having kind of a good cycle of making music, staying productive, posting that, publishing that, gaining feedback from the audience, and then doing it all over again. This cycle is super beneficial. And if you can make that happen, so finding a time frame where you can make a track, you can be somewhat happy about it, you don't overdo it, you don't underdo it somehow, and you publish it and you get feedback from the outside world. That's a really
Yeah.
good cycle to have because then you have a repeatable process that you can improve over time, and you get better at every aspect of it: the music production, the mix mastering, the arranging, the promotion, the, I don't know, post on social media, the way you maybe post it on platforms like SubmitHub to make it interesting for playlisters and all that. So there's all these kind of things you can do when you release a song. And if you do, the more often you do that, the better you get at every individual step of this cycle, and that's very beneficial. So to my last sentence on this is probably, yeah, maybe a time frame of 2 3 months. One song every 2 3 months would be a good start. Try it
Yeah.
out. If it works, great. If not, maybe extend it.
Because what would you say would be a reasonable time frame to finish a track? Because I see people in all those music gurus promoting on TikTok saying that you should finish a track every day or every week. Do you think that's an acceptable time frame to put enough work and heart into it?
Yeah, there's an interesting. I released a song yesterday actually on my YouTube. It's a remix, a Punjabi MC remix.
Oh,
Punjabi MC
I
released
saw
this.
the TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been dragging this remix around, I think, for the last 6 months. I had the idea 6 months ago, and I played around with the track for 6 months, which is much too long. Yesterday, when I finished up the song, I had no idea anymore if I like it. I just published it because I thought, okay, I invested so much time. And of course, in within these 6 months, I didn't work on it continuously. I think I probably worked on it for, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 hours. And yeah, I think it would have made sense to release it much earlier because I was running around in circles much and I lost precious time. And that's definitely not what you want to happen. So having a deadline also helps there, just to say, okay, I give myself time until, I don't know, 3 months from now. And whatever I have until then, that's ready. You know, a teacher of mine once told me, finished is not a state, finished is a decision.
For sure. It's only yeah, yeah, for sure. No, that sounds really nice. And what was your trick to finish that? Because you were 6 months stuck in something that pretty much took you like 2 days to make, since it was a remix, and you said you were like 40 hours in. Um,
Yeah.
how did you sit down and said, I'm gonna finish this? What was the trick to be able to do that?
You know, I had this drop going on, and the drop is the drop that is now in the finished product, and I didn't like it. So what I did is I tried different drops for a very long time, and none of the new approaches, none of the new ideas actually I liked somehow. So I went back to the initial drop, and this enabled me to somehow finish it because that, hey, you know, it's a very simple thing. It's just a kick drum, fall to the floor, and a bass on the offbeat, and it seemed just much too simple for me. But in the end, I said, hey, maybe simple is good, and I really wanted to get it out of the way. At some point, I'm also like thinking like, hey, you know, I'm really sick of this track. Let's just release it so I can't work on it anymore. Um,
Yeah.
a former coach of mine once told me, you know, when you're getting sick of a track, it's a good sign because it means you're just 10-20% away of actually finishing it. So I
I've been
mean,
actually feeling that. I feel like I gave up
exactly.
too close to the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fine line between perfecting it and just procrastinating. So that's again the
Yeah.
quantity quality thing. It's kind of hard to, because you think like, no, it's not good enough. You know, it's so important to me. It's my art. You know, it's my soul, and that's also just a problem. If you make it so
Yeah.
important, that's also, I think, a reason for writer's block. Every time I have a minor success in within my music, or a major one, especially when I have a major success within my music, I feel kind of scared to make the next song because
I get
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
want to mess it up. I don't want to be to make. I want to make a song that is as good or better. But try to push these thoughts away because they just distract you and they just, you know, add psychological uh, ballast. You know, ballast. What's the English word? Doesn't matter. It just adds pressure.
Yeah, I get that. And like reversing things around, instead of like just finishing your songs, if you go the other way, how do you usually start them, for instance?
Hmm. Yeah, I almost always start with the most important thing, and that's usually the chorus or the drop. I mean, depending on in which genre you are moving around, there's different ways to describe it. You know, some call it drop, some call it chorus, some call it hook or hook line or something like that. But yeah, Usually I start with the drop. I have the reason. I have a reason why I want to make the song, and with this one I start. So oftentimes I have a fully finished drop that's already mixed and mastered and totally done, and then from there I just work backwards and build up to the drop and build maybe a break and an intro, depending, of course, on the genre. The arrangements are, of course, very dependent on what genre you're using, but yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to start with the most important thing, and that's basically the chorus. But that being said, if the inspiration hits you and if you want to start with a beautiful atmospheric like intro, then definitely go for it. So
Yeah.
the beautiful thing in music is there's no rules, and I think following your inspiration is super important. And if you have a beautiful intro in mind, then definitely start with that. But I usually start, yeah, with the center thing in the song.
Yeah, for sure. I usually do go with the drop as well, but sometimes I vary and start with like a vocal or a melody because oftentimes I find myself trying to sort of like squeeze out a drop of the previous idea, of the vocal or the melody. And you obviously can do things around, right? Create the drop and then squeeze out the build up and the breaks and all that stuff in the intros. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. There aren't no rules in music for anything, and yeah, that's really nice. I also wanted to ask you, and tell me if it's a lot of questions. I think we're almost finished with them, but I wanted to ask you if in this industry, in the music scene, is there like a top one artist you would like to collaborate with?
There's this guy. I'm not sure if you ever heard of him. He's a German music producer, and for me, he's a legend. He's called Virtual Riot. I'm not sure if you
Virtual
heard of
Riot?
him. Yeah,
Yeah. Isn't he like a dubstep producer?
yeah. He's doing different genres, but I think he's most known for dubstep. Yeah, he's doing melodic dubstep. He's doing rhythm, whatever that is. This kind of newish dubstep style,
Yeah,
and he's doing.
I haven't listened to anything. Sorry for interrupting. Um, in a long time, but I remember in like 'I'd say like 2018, 2019, he had this album. Can't quite remember the name, but it was freakishly amazing, and it was a
Yeah,
mixture of dubstep and other things.
exactly. And he's just a sound design god to me, and very
Yeah.
musical stuff still. And he kind of knows how to combine insane sound design with a really nice musical taste. He released an album recently called Simulation, and yeah, just amazing. Check it out. I would love to meet the guy. He's younger than me, which kind of annoys me, but he's insanely good.
How
And
old
I
is
would
he?
love. I have no idea, but he must be maybe in his mid 20s.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's really nice. I've seen his stuff also on Splice. He has amazing sample packs, so he's doing really well there as well. Yeah. So I saw we got a new subscriber. Thank you, Max. It was something Max. I forgot. Really sorry for that. Let me just check the chat, David, in a bit.
Hmm.
Um, so so we got Thomas with the demo. Yeah, guys, I'll be checking the demos with David at the end of our conversation. All right. So just send him to my email. The link will be in the pinned chat. All right. YVW, how's it going? Max, welcome to the channel, Max. I just saw you subscribed. I wasn't sure about the name. So I think we have a question from Max right here. So he says, "Hey guys, I'm curious about your opinion on fan gates. Example, get a free download in exchange for a YouTube subscription. Do you think social platforms like YouTube will punish creators for using fan gates?" That's actually a really nice question because I am using fan gates at the moment. What's your thought on this, David?
I used them back in the days. I used Hyped It, and I stopped using them because I also stopped asking for subscribers, and I also stopped asking to someone to hit the like and subscribe button. My thinking behind that is I just want to give it away for free, totally for free, if I want to give something for free. And then the value of my stuff is enough of a reason to support me. So yeah, I kind of stopped doing it. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for my fans and my followers to download maybe a remix or whatever they want. I also give away all the presets I make for my videos. I just put it on my Google Drive and they can just download it. There's no gate, nothing behind it. And yeah, and hopefully they just subscribe because they are genuinely like my work and they appreciate me. And that's why I kind of stopped using them. Maybe it's an error, maybe I could squeeze out a few more subscribers. But yeah, I've seen this artist called Jonas Aiden. He's not active as Jonas Aiden anymore. But yeah, he also gave away his stuff totally for free, no download gate, just love. And I like this idea.
For sure, I do agree with you on that note because Jonas Hayden was doing that, but I also feel like he was a bit big already, so it really didn't make that much of a difference. But regarding what Max said, I'm using Fangates at the moment, and I do know that it can hurt your channel in the way that people will download the free stuff, subscribe to the channel, and not really watch your content. But I also find it to be a really competitive industry, so it's really tough to get in people's, feed, YouTube feed, right? And I also think that Fangates, a lot of people download and subscribe to your channel by clicking the link, and afterwards they unsubscribe, so that is that. But a lot of people leave the subscription, and I think that in that way, on your next video, once you release something new, you're going to be appearing on their feed, and slowly it's just like music. At first they'll be like, who's this guy? I'm just going to download the presets. But then a few times seeing your face on their feed, they might be like, oh, it kind of like gets in their brain, just like music, because at first you never like a song you listen to, usually, right? Like in general, but after a few times of listening to it, you just sort of started loving it, and yeah, I'm not sure which is which, what is the serum here, and if you should use the Fangates or not. To me, it has helped me grow my channel quite a lot, actually, and that's why I'm afraid it might hurt the channel, because assuming I have 1,000 subscribers and like 800 are from Fangates, that's a big percentage, of people that might not be watching the channel. But who knows? I'd say start with it, try it out, and take your own conclusions. And I feel like once you get to another level, just like Jonas Hayden did, you don't really need people to go through that process. It's much better to just give things for free, because you already have the momentum, you already have the attention and the exposure. So yeah, so Max said, I tried once with a Fangate, but YouTube put a strike on me, unfortunately. That's really weird. I'm not sure why they do that. I don't think YouTube does anything about the Fangates. At least if they're trustable sources, but don't really know. Have you ever had a bad experience with it, David?
No, I never heard of YouTube striking or giving you some kind of warning for using Fangates. Never heard of that. It might harm you a little bit in the way of, if YouTube sees that people watch your video and then they jump off the platform, which they do when they click on a fan link, then YouTube tries to keep users on the platform as long as possible. It's their business model, so
True.
that might hurt a little bit for like just future algorithmic happiness.
That's that's a really nice point of view. Yeah. When it's me, when I'm watching on my computer, I do open the link on a new tab, but I assume most people watch videos on YouTube, on YouTube mobile. And if they do click right away on the link, they will be leaving the platform, and I see how that can be hurtful. That's a really nice point of view.
Yeah, but that being said, nobody really knows how it works. The algorithm is a well-kept secret. I'm not even sure Google knows how the algorithm works. At this point, it became so complex, so who knows? But yeah, I think there's not a big harm in just trying it out, and it's also good because you have stats. You know, you have probably somewhere a number where you see, okay, actually 15 people clicked on my fan link. That's interesting to know. You know, 15 people were actually
Yeah.
really interested. You know, they went out of their way to click on the link. So that's information I think is quite beneficial to have.
Yeah, I don't think YouTube would give you a strike for using fan gates. But Max, you can probably try and analyze it with YouTube itself, with their team. Uh, by the way, Mayo, just found out about you today and really like your content. Really funny as well. Thank you so much, Max. I'm really glad this type of content is bringing people onto the channel. So moving on, sorry about that, David. It actually is really nice to read some questions from the audience. So if you guys want to keep asking stuff, it's really cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So let me see. I think we're almost finished. I also wanted to ask you, to all the beginners out there, all the producers that are starting to make music in their bedrooms, what would be your advice to them?
Wow, that's a big question. So yeah, as we talked already a little bit about, follow your inspiration. You know, figure out, you know, find what you love about music. Figure out why you love certain kinds of music, and then start copying that. You know, really crazily. I think that's just the best to start out. You know, if you love Skrillex like I did, then you know start trying to copy Skrillex as hard as possible. My first beats were dubstep beats, and they sounded horrible, but I really wanted that dubstep sound. I was listening to that. I was really hyped about it. So this is how I started, and I think that way you learn and improve much easier because you kind of have the passion and the joy about it. I think YouTube is a great place to learn not only music production but actually everything you can possibly think of. It's just really crazy how much learning can be done on YouTube. There's tutorial websites about everything, and for music production, there's some insanely good ones. For example, one by Mayo over here. He has a bunch of really good remakes with lots of great tips. So yeah, that's really cool. And
Likewise,
the
bro.
last tip, thank you. The last tip I want to give you is maybe a bit outside the box, but it helped me along my journey very much. I found coaches. I found people I paid to coach me. And that really helped and it really jump started my career because I had multiple coaches over the years and they just amplified and sped up my progress so much because I was able to ask them, okay, hey, why is my song so much quieter than this new song by Brooks or whomever? And then I was able to ask someone and explain to me why and help me how to achieve that sound. And I was able to, you know, identify specific problems and then delete those problems in my music, in my skill set, and that was really beneficial. So, you know, there's lots of coaches out there. I'm also coaching, by the way, if you're interested. And it's definitely something that could speed up the process quite a bit. And also, you know, you don't feel so alone as a producer. So that's also a nice benefit to have someone who is more experienced who can take you along. You know, when you learn the piano, you also have a teacher usually. So why not in music production?
Yeah, that's really great advice. On that note, I would also like to say, because you said you don't feel as alone as a music producer, and lately, since I dedicated myself full time to music, one of the things I feel the most is I lack networking. So I really feel alone. There's not a lot of producers where I live. And that's actually one of the main reasons I started this series, to get to know other producers, to, you know, build up some networking. And I think that's a really, really good tip because on your own, you only going to get so far because it takes longer to learn. Because if you're working with other people, you can learn by their mistakes, right? So you kind of shorten the window, the time frame of your music production career. And one advice I also wanted to give to beginner producers is don't compare yourself too much to other producers, right? Because I think we all go through this. We all have been through this process. And unless you're going to be comparing yourself for motivation, I don't advise you to do that, especially nowadays with all the algorithms from TikTok, YouTube. You pretty much only see what's going viral, and you forget about all the other thousands or millions of people that are making content and are going nowhere. So it really kind of sucks because you instantly get demotivated, right? And a funny story this week, I invited David for the live stream, and we were talking a bit yesterday or 2 days ago, and we were talking about the algorithm and about TikTok. And I checked his TikTok, and he was like at 400 followers or something, and I was at like 500 and something. And I've been doing TikTok for a year, I think, and I never really blow up. And then a few hours later, David posts a TikTok, and it goes viral. Okay, so and I saw it. It was the first time I saw. Oh, sorry, I'm saying David. It's David. My bad. It was the first time I saw David on my FYP on the TikTok for you page, and I think it went to 200K the video. That was it.
Almost 300 now.
Yeah, and the first feeling I got was I felt sad because I was like, why doesn't this happen to me? And then a few hours later, I sort of like converged it, and I started to feel like, damn it, that's got to be me. So I'm going to keep producing, going to keep making content. I want to go viral as well, and that's a hard thing to do. I know a lot of people can't make the conversion. They get stuck on the sad part, on the demotivation, and it really helps out to build your network, to talk to other people. David, for instance, told me what he did to make it go viral. He said he did nothing differently, but it was obviously his experience on video editing, making music, and consistency for all it takes. I think that's one of the most important things. So yeah, I think we're giving really, really good advice here. YVW says your webcam kind of laggy. Yeah, it's really laggy because my computer sucks, but I'll be working on that on the next time. If you guys want to donate and help me get better software, the link is in the description. But yeah, I hope you can hear me well enough to understand what's going on. So yeah, thank you so much, David. I also wanted to make last 3 questions. I wanted to ask you how you think the internet actually changed the music business.
That's an interesting question. I mean, as with everything, basically, the internet, of course, changed music also very much. I mean, it started just with downloads, music downloads, and just the death of CDs, of course. That's changed everything a lot. I can remember when I first opened up Napster and found out that I can just illegally and totally for free download every single music I ever want, which is great. And as a consumer, it was great. For musicians, maybe not so much, but I think even for musicians, the internet as a whole is a really good and important thing. Of course, nowadays we have streaming services that change the music industry once again dramatically. I see it mostly in the type of arrangements I do. For Spotify, you really need to get to the point very quickly. Otherwise, people jump off and then it harms the algorithm again. So I try to arrive at the chorus within 1 minute, stuff like that. I wouldn't think about too much pre-internet, let's say, or pre-Spotify. But nowadays, I have short tracks, 2 minutes and 30 seconds maximum. Get to the drop quickly and try to be very concise and short. That's definitely one thing that changed because of the internet. And the other very big thing is that artists, especially music producers, don't need to. I mean, making music is only a small part of the whole thing that you need to do nowadays as a music producer. You have to make yourself visible with content, especially video content. I think that's very important. People are not only into the music, they are actually into the person behind the music. They want to know who you are. They want to know what you think about, how you think, and what you're all about. and they want to feel like there's a person behind it. So that's why I think music production is one thing, but sooner or later you have to figure out a way how you can visually communicate who you are as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good advice. I think, I mean, point of view. I think the internet changed everything, because being able to work to anywhere in the world is a really big thing nowadays. And I think it's always hard to get into the music industry, because you might tell your parents when you're younger, oh, I'm going to be a DJ or a producer. And they're like, there's no jobs out there for that. Right? It's really hard to make it as an artist. But the internet sort of like brought us this like huge platform. It's the globe, to be honest, and that's really interesting and powerful. Obviously, it has its downsides as well, but that's just like anything in life, for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
and one thing on that note, because sure, making a living from music is definitely hard, but there is actually a lot of stuff out there that you can do apart from just being the biggest DJ on the biggest stage, or being a pop superstar. There's lots of ways that where you can make money as a music producer. For example, ghostwriting, for example,
yeah.
writing stock music, for example, writing music for ads, and stuff like that, where there's actually tens of thousands of people who make a good living from music production, and you might never heard of them. So there's not only the starving artist and the mega superstar. There's also a world in between of just musicians who have have enough income to live from that. Also, teaching, coaching is also definitely a thing that an established artist, someone who became really good at the craft, can think about. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I also wanted to ask you, David, and that will be my last question. Um, what is next for David Rit?
Yeah, so as I said, I concentrate a lot on video content at the moment, and the numbers are going up very much on all my social channels, and I want to keep it like that. So yeah, I'm very productive at the moment. I kind of managed to find a way where I can sit a lot right here, where I'm sitting right now, and just build music and build videos. And I will just continue to post very consistently, much more often. There will be roughly one video a week on YouTube. There will be lots of YouTube shorts and TikTok and Instagram reels, all the vertical stuff, very important at the moment. And I want to commit myself to, just releasing music on all the streaming services once every 2 months and all that. And this will keep me busy quite a bit. And yeah, every now and then I even DJ here in my hometown in Vienna. Well, it's not really a big focus of mine, but I actually like doing it. Sometimes when the offer is right and when I kind of feel the venue, I agree, and then I DJ and play live, which is always a lot of fun. But yeah, I see my main work definitely here in the studio, just building, making music on the computer. That's what I love doing, and I hope I can do that for a long time in the future.
And how are you able to make it work with your full time job, to get the time to work on your stuff, on your music
I'm
stuff?
not working. I'm not working full time. That's one secret.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. I told you, I think, before the stream, and maybe I mentioned it on the stream as well. So I'm not only a music producer but also filmmaker, and I do video as well, which is really cool. Also to diversify yourself. I'm also very career focused at the moment, so that's also a definitely a way to find that time, because I just make it a priority. I sacrifice some things. I sacrifice going out. I sacrifice going on vacation, I don't know, to Thailand or Bali or somewhere, because I use that time to grow my businesses. And that's just the point where I am in my career right now. I really want to focus. I want to really grow, and that only works if you really, I made it my number one priority, and that's actually kind of cool to that I'm able to say that and really mean it.
Yeah, the internal grind, right? That's really amazing. But
Yeah.
obviously, don't forget about living, because I feel like it's also really important, and we never know what tomorrow awaits. But yeah, I feel like that I'm solely focused on building my business, and the thing is, I love it, so it's also a bit of living while I'm working, which is not every
For
time because
sure.
it's a lot of work, but yeah. So yeah, David, I really love this interview, sort of this conversation. It was really nice. I actually learned a lot, and I hope our audience learned too. Um, I wanted to ask people if they have demos to send me. Let me just check how we're doing. So we've been going for 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's been good. That was a really nice talk here between me and David. So guys, let me know in the comments if you want us to do some like a feedback session. So we'll go through your music and we'll give you some feedback on your tracks. So YVW says feedback, I think. That's it, yeah. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have some technical issues right here because I will need to share my screen with David and show the songs. So Max says, I don't have something to show right now. There's no worries, Max. We'll be doing live streams every Wednesday, so if you have anything else, you can send it to me during the live stream or even in private on Discord, on the Discord server, or to my Instagram. Okay, so let me see how I'm able to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna move the layout. David, you're gonna disappear for a few seconds, and I'll try to come in with our cameras and maybe SoundCloud to react to the feedback. All right?
Gotcha. Yep.
Let me see. Okay, guys. So let me just check this out. Okay, David. So I'll be sharing my screen with SoundCloud. I'm pretty sure my computer is gonna blow up, but if it blows up, I'll see you next Wednesday. Okay, guys? You already know.
Yeah. F's in the chat if it blows up.
Okay, so I'm sharing the SoundCloud. I'm gonna turn off my camera here. So you can see the SoundCloud, David, right?
No,
You can? On Discord?
I can't. Yeah. I don't see anything, only see myself.
Okay. So I'm gonna check Discord to see if we have any tracks here, and also on my email. Guys, I wanted to ask you to send stuff to my email instead of Discord, okay? I saw that Thomas sent us one on Discord. He was the only one. So please send it to the email. I feel like I'm really lagging right now because of the screen sharing.
You sound good to me.
Yeah, I think it's only the camera. That sucks. I'm actually gonna change it a bit. Okay, so let me see if we have any demos. RR is in the chat. He typed in F. Not sure what that means, but welcome. Okay, so we have a few tracks. Oh, they're all from Satan, I guess. So guys, I don't think Satan is here anymore, so please send me tracks if you're here in the live stream. Also, I've been having a lot of problems with Satan's tracks. I always get copyright. Okay, so I got one. There you go. Did you speak about the copyright thing? I did not. I haven't spoken about the copyright thing yet. Please don't type it in the chat because I actually removed that live stream from the channel. So I think the person on the chat just sent me pretty much all his music, like 20 links. What am I supposed to listen here? Not sure. And he keeps typing F on the chat. Okay, so YVW, let me know if you have something else. Okay. RR, if you want me to listen to your stuff, please write something in English, okay? All right, so YVW is sending. While he's sending, we should listen to some David's tracks, right? What do you say, David?
Put on my new remix.
Is it on SoundCloud? Oh, there it is. Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so guys, let me check the tech problems. This is gonna look really bad, so be careful. Okay, so we have the chat, but we don't have David right here. So let me go back. I'm just trying to put your face on the screen, David. Let me see. Okay, so let me go on OBS. Change this a bit. So there we go. Let's put David. So yeah, guys, this is an OBS tutorial right here. I'm really a beginner, as you can tell. But we can do it. Okay, let me see. Okay, I think we got David right here. Oh, Jesus. Wait a second. So yeah, guys, when you donate and I buy a desktop, this will be done pre-handedly. Okay. No pressure. All right. So we got David. David, you told me you're seeing the SoundCloud, right, on your Discord.
Let me see. No, I see nothing, but...
You see nothing? Let me see. Oh, okay. It's because Discord pauses it, so it doesn't take too much CPU. But I'm sure you'll be able to listen to audio, I guess. Okay, so I only need to show the SoundCloud. Oh, there we go. Okay, guys. So we'll be listening to the new David's remix, the Punjabi remix. Okay, the TikTok is really funny. I really love what you did with the finger. What was it called?
Pinky power.
The pinky power. I find it really interesting how you made the first part of the drop with pretty much no drums and percussion, just like a kick and a bass, and then the second part is just pure fire. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me see.
I ended up. Yeah. Let's just play it. I ended up just making it very simple in the first part. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So RR said he sent us. Let me see. So sent you an email. The first 4 links are my latest tracks. RR, let me know if they have any copyright, because that will damage the stream. Okay. All right, David. So I'll play the Punjabi. Let me know if you can listen to it. First off, what synthesizer did you use for this bass? This sounds really fat.
It's Vital. It's a free one.
Oh, I love Vital. Yeah. I haven't played too much with it yet, but it's really nice. Let's go. Oh. Damn, this sounds so fat, the bass. Yeah, man, this sounds really full. I love how you added sort of like a sweep down riser. Not sure what it is, if it's a sample or a synth, but it sounds so good before the second part of the drop.
That is serum.
Is it? It sounds so nice, bro. You gotta send me that preset.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see. Yeah, but to be honest, there's not a lot of feedback I can give right here, okay? Because you obviously been producing for quite a long time. The only feedback I can give you is I really love what you made with the first part of the drop. Because I am definitely not expecting it when it hits, and it sounds too minimalistic, too simple. But then you do get what you expect on the second part of the drop, and I feel like that's amazing. And the hi-hats, it sounds really, really full, really groovy. I see you're also keeping up with the trending genres right now, house, tech house, that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's a really great job. I would follow you on SoundCloud, but I don't have my login. Okay, but I'll do it later. All right, guys, so we have the demos here. So we got one from DJ Killa, which is YVW. And we also got one from RR. So he said those links are his original work and that it doesn't have any copyright. So we'll check that out, and we'll also check out YVW's track. So David, you heard it pretty fine, right?
Yeah, I heard it through the live stream,
Oh, you did?
but that's fine.
Okay, so you're not listening to it on Discord?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So shall I stop the screen sharing? Maybe to give more CPU to my...
Yeah, sure, stop it.
Okay. So RR, are you sure I'm not going to get copyright on this? Okay, let me just stop the live stream. Oh, I think we're going to lose David's face. So I'm gonna keep on going like this. Just the remix is copyrighted? I hope so. Goddamn. Let's try it. Okay, David, what do you think?
First of all, good job, man. Sounds really polished. I liked how you used this ping pong delay on the bass, and also the pad in the intro was cool. Overall, melodically, also kind of cool. I liked it. Nothing I would kind of change there. I felt the clap was maybe a bit weak. What you can try there is using some kind of distortion unit. I like to use overdrive, the Ableton stock overdrive, and then dial that in very lightly, maybe just 3-4%. And that really helps to bring the clap forward. So you could try that, because I felt the clap felt a bit too much in the background. So maybe it's also just a loudness issue. But other than that, I think it's really cool, really nice. Reminds me a bit of the future wave thing that's going on at the moment with
Yeah.
David Guetta and Martin. Good job, man.
Yeah, good job. I agree with David. I'm not a big fan of that clap or snare. I think it was a clap that you added and then you pen both sides. I feel like the sample isn't the right one for the track. And I am also not a big fan of the pad that comes in on the second part of the drop. So I'd say this one right here. I feel like it's a bit too simple and cuts off the mood of the track itself. But other than that, I really like the genre. It sort of reminds me of future rave, just like as for David. And yeah, you did a nice job, RR. How do you how do you actually spell your name? This is obviously an artist name, right? Okay, so YVW says, I want to be able to make this. What the hell, bro? Yeah, it sounds really nice. But YVW, your tracks already sound pretty nice as well. So it's just a different genre, to be honest. Okay, so let us check YVW's track. So we got two links. It's the same link. It's a Dropbox one. Guys, let me know if I'm lagging. I think we're doing better right now. My camera is still a bit laggy, but let's pray. Yeah, with mixing, mastering, I gotta watch a bit more tutorials. Yeah, it already, as David said, it already sounds really polished. Maybe it's just a matter of sample choosing and what David said for the claps. So adding a bit of distortion, because often producers think that mastering will solve the whole thing, but oftentimes it's the problem is in the mixing. So I'd advise you to do those, to change those small details and then do the mastering after. Alrighty, so let's listen to YVW's track on Dropbox. What is this? Is this an original, a remix? Let us know. Bro, did you just send us like an 8-bar drop? What is that? Is this like a rough idea? Oh, second should be a different one. It's original, tried to make it future bounce, but failed. LOL. I mean, the idea is there on this one. I just feel like the leads are too loud and the bass is too low. What did you think, David?
Yeah, the sound design is already quite cool. I definitely feel like you got this genre's idea. Although, yeah, they sound very from the frequency spectrum. They sound there in the higher frequencies. There's a lot there. Maybe you can add a layer somewhere in the range of, I don't know, let's say 500 hertz to 1.5K. You know, maybe a layer that is an octave lower, same modulation, same automation, same effects, but just lower. Something is missing there in the mid-range somewhere, I feel like. So yeah, try adding maybe 1-2 more layers, similar sounds, similar automation.
On the bass or
maybe
the leads?
Maybe that helps. On this lead chord kind of thing that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm listening on my monitors, so no headphones, and I also felt like the mid-range it's kind of lacky. Okay, he sent us a link fix. I'm not sure what it is. Let me listen to it. Bro, that sounds really, really punchy. I love this idea. This is really fire. That sort of perk, or it's probably a synth that you use that keeps going on, sort of like a gate effect or something. I feel like it should be more in your face. Okay, so it's sounding a bit on the back to me. Let me know, David, if you also feel that on the headphones. And you should make it a bit more fat. So try to make it sort of like a main element together with the kick and bass, right? What do you think, David?
Yeah, the rhythm of this tom type bass is really cool. That's really bouncy. I would
Yeah.
totally, shake it on the dance floor. Although, if you could make it a bit longer or somehow make it a bit more, I'm kind of missing the pitch of the bass, if you know what I mean. It's very tom-like pew, 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 but I wasn't able to identify the pitch somehow. So I don't know if you maybe could open up the release a bit more. Maybe it's just a tom sample, then it's not possible. But yeah, kind of hard to explain. And also, it's just a suggestion. Maybe it doesn't even work. That's always a possibility, but I would try that.
Yeah, for sure. Let me check again. Yeah, I see what we were saying about the bass. Yeah, for sure. But I really like this idea. You could actually work on this, make it sound a bit better, build on it a bit more, and you could have something here. I also see this blowing up on TikTok if you make some dances. Okay, so I don't think we have any more demos. I can check a RR demo, another one. Let us know if you have anything else, guys. I won't be checking Satan's tracks today, all right? And then I'll talk to him later. So YVW says, gotta go. Huge thanks on the feedback. It was really nice being here. Gonna be back next stream if I can. Thank you so much, YVW. Thank you for coming, as always. I really like your progress on this. So yeah, have a nice week, and I'll see you around.
See ya, mate.
So yeah, David, I can see, I hope you can see on the live stream that our bot is working with your links.
Yeah, I
Right.
see it. I like it.
Probably not the best sentence, but I think it's working. All right, so I'm not sure. I don't think we have anyone else sending us tracks. So yeah, I guess that's it, David. I really want to say thank you for having you here and for actually accepting the invitation for coming on the live stream. This was really a different experience for me. I really loved the way it went, all right? And also giving feedback with another producer, it makes it much richer, because all the different opinions, we actually learn from each other, I think. And so it's not just feedback to the subscribers, but also learning how to analyze a song from another producer. And I found that to be really, really nice. So yeah, any last words, anything you want to say, David?
I mean, first of all, thanks for the invitation, Mayo. That was fun. Keep on doing what you do. I see you put in the work. It's always lovely to see someone being motivated, to see someone making moves, getting things done. That's really cool. So yeah, keep it up. Don't get discouraged. The grind will eventually pay off. And yeah, thanks so much for having me. And hopefully, we can stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. We will be in touch. Try to keep on that grind. I'm planning to go viral, so I'll catch you on TikTok and YouTube. That's my yeah, and that's it, guys. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming. As always, don't forget to keep producing, to keep grinding. It is what you love. So yeah, don't let the dream die. All right. I'll see you next week. Big round of applause for David here for being with us today. We're not going to hear you applauding, so don't mind. But yeah, once again, thank you so much, guys, and I will see you next week. Take care.